Welcome back to Enka and welcome back to another movie review. Today's movie review is Hunting in Venice.
Yes.
The continuation to the amazing, what's his name? Orange Express guy.
Hercule Poirot. I don't know how to say it in a French accent.
Well, he's done the Orange Express. He's the character, the amazing Sherlock Holmes detective kind of guy
From Agatha Christie novels.
Yeah. So there's a lot of books about this one character. I'm not specifically sure if this movie is based on a book, but it most likely is. It is? Okay. Well, we watched this movie a month ago.
I thought it was beginning of this month.
Beginning of November?
Yeah.
Yeah, around then. It's still pretty fresh on my mind. So let's just get right into it.
Yeah. So this came out technically September 15th of this year.
A while ago.
It's adapted from the book Halloween Party by Agatha Christie.
I see. Yeah.
I've heard some people say that it kind of deviated, but that like the main plot and like whodunit is still like relatively the same. But I haven't read the book, so I don't know 100%. It did make quite a bit of money at the box office. Again, I don't have the number for what their budget was, but it made 121.9 million.
Wow.
Which is more than the last movie that we saw.
That's pretty good.
But then again, I also didn't see many people saying that they were going to go see this movie. So
I think this is more of a cult following kind of movie.
because of Agatha Christie.
Yeah.
100%. If you like the novels, you would go see the movie.
We've seen all of these movies.
Except Murder on the Orient Express.
We have not seen that one. We saw the previous one on the boat.
Yeah. What was that? The Nile?
The Death on the Nile.
Or Death on the Nile. There you go. But yeah, there was also a lot of people in this movie. Tina Fey was in this movie. Michelle Yeoh. Jamie Dornan. People I just did not expect to see again in this movie. In a very ensemble-esque, much like the other movies as well.
Michelle Yeoh is the one from Everything Everywhere All at Once,
who won the
right?
Oscar.
Yeah, amazing actress.
Although isn't in the movie for very long.
No, not at all.
But the premise of this movie is now retired and living in self-imposed exile in the world's most glamorous city, Poirot. Shut up. Poirot reluctantly attends a séance at a decaying haunted palazzo. He soon gets thrust into a sinister world of shadows and secrets when one of the guests is murdered. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
This movie was a really good movie to end the spooky season. I think it was more like a not necessarily horror. I mean, I've said this in all of our episodes for the past week, month, but we watched a lot of horror.
Oh yeah,
this movie was not even spooky. It was more like a good time.
It was fun. Yeah,
I mean, it did have a couple spooks, to be fair, but it was just fun, and I knew it was gonna be fun because of the character Hercule.
Yeah.
And we like his movies, and we also love like really smart detectives. We watched the whole show Sherlock Holmes with Benedict Cumberbatch. We loved that show.
Oh yeah.
And Death on the Nile was kind of alright, a little bit silly, more so like just fun for family and whatnot. So we were going into this movie with, I don't know what kind of expectations we had, because we knew that it could be silly because of what we've seen in the past with his movies, but it could also be really mysterious because it completely deviated from it was just a murder.
Because there could be paranormal activity.
There could be paranormal, and throughout the whole movie, you don't really know if there is or there isn't. And if anything, for most of it, you're like, so there is paranormal, and he's gonna say it is paranormal activity, what's happening right now.
But then he finds something else that's like, oh wait, here's a way to justify that it's not paranormal activity.
And what I really enjoy about these movies is how in most of the movie you really don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of details that you're missing and whatnot that you are supposed to miss, and you're not supposed to know everything. But then the detective comes and explains everything to you, and all of a sudden everything makes so much sense that you're like, can we stop this movie and just go back a couple of seconds and just hear that again? Because that was absolutely incredible. I feel like that was it for a lot of this movie as well. And I mean, what you were mentioning at the beginning, from the beginning, you just mentioned about him explaining how it couldn't be paranormal. He did that at the very beginning of the movie when he first got to the palazzo. We had this medium person that came to do a seance. And he explained everything, and it was just so amazing. But it's those like little silly moments that become really interesting for people that just don't deal with any of that at all. Yeah. And because it's like borderline crime, but it's also, I don't know. I really liked it. I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah. I mean, Agatha Christie is a fantastic writer. So obviously.
Have you read any of her books?
No, but I just know that she's amazing.
Yeah.
But I know that like in other movies you're able to like pinpoint who the killer is.
Yeah. Death on the Nile for sure was
Death on the Nile, you would like try to pinpoint one of those. But I think what made this one a little bit different is because you didn't know if there was something paranormal happening or not.
It was always the feeling like it could just be no one.
Yeah, like it could just be what it looks like.
Yeah.
Or it could have been a murder. And the reveal at the end, while I'm not necessarily super shocked at who it was, I'm shocked at the method of which it happened.
Which was insane.
Yeah, like the little pinpoints about how the girl who everybody's doing the seance for actually died is like crazy. And there was nothing in there that made me believe or think that this is what happened. Because I initially just thought, oh, like someone just could have just tossed her out a window.
Or she fell, actually.
Or she actually fell, like how the police said. So it was just interesting, like, realizing the full depth of the plot. Yeah, I really enjoyed that a lot.
And also to the filmmaker's favor, or I guess Agatha's, the writer, favor, the place where it takes place, the location.
The setting,
it's perfect. Yeah. I mean, Venice with the flooded streets and having to go by boat everywhere. In that specific part of Venice. The architecture
of the house that makes it so that you don't quite know where the rooms are, so anyone could pop out of anywhere, and creepy basements and whatnot.
Because if this took place in say New York City, then it wouldn't have the same effect. And even if it took place in the Nile, like the past movie, it also still will not have the same effect. I feel like every movie is so unique in that sense. The previous one was on a boat, then the one before that was on a train. I think everything has so much reason as to why it's happening the way it's happening. For example, in this one, they couldn't get out because there was a storm outside, so there wouldn't be like the boat taxis going around and whatever, and the police wouldn't come right away because of the storm as well.
Kind of convenient,
but it makes so much sense.
Yeah,
it's like I see why it's done that way, and it also just makes it so much spooky. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Edinburgh.
Really?
If Edinburgh was flooded.
I get that.
Yeah, with the architecture and kind of like gloomy and cloudy. And
in case you don't know, Edinburgh is in Scotland.
Yeah.
And we never shut up about it.
But all in all, I feel like the location and the setting, really well done. Most of the movie takes place at nighttime.
Yeah.
Because the murder happens late at night, and then the cops come in the morning. So pretty much everything happens in the nighttime. But then there's also a really nice tie-in with the beginning of the movie. One of the characters, extra characters, is asking Hercule for some help. And then towards the end, his whole mindset has changed, and you actually get to see a little bit of that actual starting of a new case happening. Yeah. And it's just a nice tie-in to see how the character arc also switched throughout the movie, because supposedly he was retired and he was just there to be convinced that this is paranormal and not just humankind.
Shall we get into some reviews?
Let's do it.
Beautiful. Okay. First one I have is from Rolling Stone.
Okay.
Having already tackled two big Poirot tales, Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile, the question was, which Christie mystery might he do next? The obvious choice would have been something like Evil Under the Sun or The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. Instead, Branagh and his co-writer Michael Green chose a slightly deeper cut in the back catalog, a 1969 book called Halloween Party that finds Poirot investigating the death of a young girl at a costume party. The title was then changed to A Haunting in Venice and relocated from England to the far more cinematic city of Endless Canals. So I stopped there. They also changed the instigating murder, added a seance, introduced a whole new cast of characters, upped the horror aspect by roughly 300%, and came up with something that is more or less nothing like the source material. It's practically a new Christie story. We applaud the ambition. So I guess I take back what I said. Apparently it's nothing like the book.
Nothing like the book.
But I never read it, so I guess I'm not surprised. And now this sleuthing starts, with Branagh dosing the usual whodunit template with a lot of fancy camera angles, a good deal of gothic atmosphere, and a whole lot of jump scares. Every name from the cast plays up their parts, from mousy to manic, suspicious to very suspicious. Yet not even the combination of old school murder mystery and hyped up haunted house shenanigans can give this Poirot excursion a pulse. The actual mystery is why this feels so anemic and sluggish, even with some heavy hitters doing their best attempt at Agatha Christie's archetypes. Put it this way. When you have Faye, Yao, and Riley in your ensemble, and you still can't generate any sense of snap, crackle, or pop, there's a serious problem. Haunting in Venice makes good use of its locale, with tons of tourist baiting shots of the city. It just doesn't know what to do with the tried and true formula it's got, or how to incorporate the tweaks to that formula in a way that jolts things to life. Even before the murder is revealed, you'll recognize the method in which the movie dispatches its victims. They, like us, were probably bored to death.
Oh my goodness.
They didn't like it.
They didn't like
They
it
didn't
at
like
all.
it.
Who's this? Rolling Stone?
Rolling Stone didn't like it.
I mean, Rolling Stones does music. What do you know about movies?
Come on.
I mean, it's just really complicated to... I don't know if we reviewed Death on the Nile.
We did.
We might... Okay, we
I
did.
thought we did.
So you can go back to that.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking back at Death on the Nile, it was a mediocre movie.
Mm-hmm.
Fun still. Like a fun family movie for one time. Maybe put in the background or whatever it is.
I mean, I don't know if a murder mystery is necessarily a family movie, but I know
But
what you mean.
it's more like a family-friendly murder mystery. It's not
Slightly.
It's not like a serial killer documentary or something like that. But that one was mediocre, and this one exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
Because I already knew that the previous one wasn't like the end all be all. We also watched the other detective, the Glass Onion. I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
Different
Daniel Craig,
writing.
that actor.
Also kind of like, fun. All right.
Yeah.
Whatever. So a lot of these murder mysteries are always like the whodunit. It's fine. It's whatever. It's in the middle. This one, I feel like it gave us a little bit more than just the whodunit and just the trying to figure out who it is. I mean, even Glass Onion still had a little bit of unraveling and
a little bit of unraveling an onion.
But this one, I don't know, with the paranormal stuff in it, specifically in October. I mean, it came out in September and whatever. Yeah. But I feel like there was a little bit more pizzazz to this one. I wouldn't hate it as much.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why they're as much of a hater.
Yeah, maybe they really loved the original book because they said, "I love the ambition." I have not read. I don't read. Period.
No, he does not read.
But I mean, it's interesting that they're changing it. I don't know if the book is dated. I don't know if it feels.
Well, it was 1969.
Yeah, but I don't know if it feels dated. In that sense, because Lord of the Rings doesn't feel dated to me, but it's also really a little, but maybe.
That's another thing for another time.
But I mean, I will have to actually take a look at it. I don't imagine it being super long, but I mean, I like what I saw.
Yeah, no, I liked all the characters.
Yeah.
I liked the cast that they brought in. I think there was some really fun moments and also more scary moments. So I don't think I was bored at all for a single moment in this film. No. I don't know why they were bored.
And most of the stuff, I don't think I saw it coming.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Maybe they feel like they just know everything, and that's why they didn't like it.
I mean, it's the Rolling Stones.
Who knows? This next one is from Mashable.com. His scares are all lobbed with a soft touch and an unspoken promise that our hero really has nothing to fear. Death is for the new characters, never Poirot. And in that, there's a deflation of the tension that might be stoked in horror. Perhaps proper scares might have helped keep this film from dragging. As it is, the mystery here is too easy to puzzle out, in part because Branagh hit some clues with the subtlety of a sledgehammer. If you wondered why a common household object gets a prolonged close-up, you're halfway to the answer. As such, the story begins to drag with Poirot strolling rushing from one austere room to the another, unearthing backstories and secrets, but missing one glaring element. Yes, for all my complaints, this is undoubtedly the best in this trilogy. Its settings feel more real than the foggy backdrops of the Murder on the Orient Express. Its cast better grasps the material and the throwback tone than the ensemble from Death on the Nile. While I yearned for sharper scares, I appreciated the eerie atmosphere that Branagh wafts into the first act like a chilling fog. And though Faye feels an odd fit for the film, she is undoubtedly entertaining, especially as the pesky fly on the wall of the prim Perrault's process.
Maybe I'm just dumb.
Are we dumb?
Are we dumb? We could be dumb. I didn't see it coming. I have my suspicions, but I don't think I got it right.
Like
ever.
I said, I wasn't necessarily shocked at who it was. I was just impressed by the manner of which it happened and for all the reasonings. I don't think that makes it bad. I liked the journey that I was on, but a lot of other people didn't.
At this point, I don't think whodunit movies are to test your detective abilities.
Yeah.
I think whodunit movies. I think people are overestimating the genre. I don't know what whodunit movies they're watching, but the ones I'm watching is not for me to sit with pen and pencil, pen and paper. It's not what that's about.
Yeah.
It's not for me to become a detective.
Let me just have some fun. Let me just watch the movie.
Which is like a little silly.
I don't think it dragged for me. Maybe our attention spans are different, okay? I don't know. I agree that it's the best in the trilogy.
It is.
Granted,
well, we haven't seen the first one, so...
But
the best of the two
I can probably agree already that it's probably a little bit better. Because that one's set on a train. So...
Train sounds fun, though. We watched... it's not a whodunit, but we watched Bullet Train. That was a...
Oh, yeah.
That was a well-done train movie.
That one was more fun, though. But yeah, so I don't know why there's negative
so
stuff.
much hate. I mean, I think Glass Onion, I think Death on the Nile, all of those also got a lot of hate.
And it might just be because the genre's overdone.
I don't feel like it's that overdone.
Well, they did it a lot before we were alive.
Yeah.
And so bringing it to a newer generation, it can feel a little maybe outdated.
And now, at least once or twice a year, you see a new whodunit movie from these big storylines, which I think is alright, because once or twice a year, you also get a big superhero movie, and once or twice a year, you get a big horror movie.
And then a big romance movie.
And a big romance movie. And I think it's just what happens.
Murder mysteries should be fun, and I get if at sometimes you're not like a big fan of like going back and forth to interviewing different people, but I found that to be fun.
Yeah,
I guess
like
it's
Knives
to each
Out.
their own.
I really enjoy Knives Out.
Knives Out was great. That also had a quicker pace, though. I feel like
it did.
So
specifically with the interviews, that's why it reminded me of it.
Exactly. Like the interviews were chopped up in such a way where it was like engaging, where this one was very straightforward. You're sitting down in the room talking to them, then you move to the next room. So I understand if you want to criticize that point. But again, I didn't find that to be bad. I think it's characteristic of the genre.
For sure.
In these particular movies, and that's why I like it. It fits. So.
If you're watching a whodunit movie, don't expect top-notch.
It's okay if you figure it out.
It's okay. Yeah. It's not boring if you figure it out, because then you still have to figure out how they do it and the whole intricate and backstory of it and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any more reviews?
That's it.
I think I have one more thought, but I completely forgot it.
Put it in post. Out of 5, how would you give it? How would you rate it?
3.5.
Okay. Yeah.
What about you?
3.5 I think is fair. It was really fun, really enjoyable. It wasn't like something I'm gonna run over to rewatch.
Yeah, but again, it's another like put it in the background movie. Yeah.
It's just a fun movie.
Or like, man. Oh, remember that part?
Yeah, there's nothing super crazy.
No.
But it's fun. It's a fun time. It's a fun mystery. It's a fun paranormal mystery. That's all I want in a movie at the end of the day.
Yeah. This one, I will definitely say go watch it.
Definitely.
If you have not seen it,
make your own opinions.
100% go watch it. And yeah, I feel like the opinions are completely, I mean, not divided, because most critics are hating it or whatever. But we really liked it. We say you should go watch it and have your own opinion about it and try to enjoy it. You just know that I mean, I remember what I was gonna say.
What were you gonna say?
Whodunit movies, what they said in Rolling Stones, they always have beautiful cinematography.
That's true.
Beautiful angles, beautiful shots of everything. I mean, the shots of the city were amazing. And so if you love cinematography, Whodunit movies is where it's at.
This one in particular is where it's at.
So gorgeous. And with that being said, you can follow us at NCOT the podcast on Instagram. You can find us on TikTok at That Film Couple. You can also find us on YouTube at That Film Couple if you would like to watch the recording of this podcast. And we have vlogs and a couple other fun extra things in there. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you can also find us as NCOT ! On all podcast platforms. And you can find me on Instagram as sevi.mp4.
And you can find me at caitlin.mp4.
Thank you for being here one more week, and we'll see you in the next one.
And cut!